Okay, I'm back. So sorry about the last video. It cut me off. YouTube was having some problems with streaming. So I figured I'd just finish it up here. I got most of the way through. I didn't want to start over. So we're almost through this one here. Where we left off, we were at Breath of Fire. The ad for Breath of Fire, I believe. One second. Yeah, we were at the ad for Breath of Fire. And so here, this is for Breath of Fire 2, sorry. So you see, will you take up the sword? Breath of Fire 2. Will you lead the adventurer? Will you exalt in endless treasure? Will you set free the dragons? So Breath of Fire 2, I beat this maybe a year ago. Very good game, very hard near the end. There was a part where you could really customize your characters by like fusing them with different powers. I forget exactly what it entailed. I didn't quite understand it. I did look up some fusion parts, some good fusions for them. Very fun game, very lengthy game. Translation's known to be pretty bad, but it is a very good game. Here's the part on Secret of Evermore. They gave it pretty good reviews. I think I covered this on my last video. It gave it like 3.5s across the board, and then for 4.0 for fun factor. Secret of Evermore I had as a kid. I still have it. I really liked it. Anything Squaresoft, like I saw the ad with the dog that was on this page, this magazine at the beginning, and I mentioned that ad stuck out to me, and that's how I wanted it. So ads do work. Very good game. The alchemy is how you cast spells. You have to find ingredients, and then you cast the spells through those ingredients. It's kind of weird, not weird, but you'd think it would be bad, but it's not too bad. They give you enough ingredients to use the spells, and your dog can actually sniff with that triggers. I think you can cause him to sniff for spells. You could set him to sniff for items, and then you pick him up when he finds them. Here we have Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4 and Virtual Highlight. Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a Koei game, a lot like strategy based on real Chinese history. Been running for a long time. I think it's going still today. Actually mixed in with the Dynasty Warriors games, and there's that going on. These are for Saturn. Virtual Highlight is a early 3D game. This is 1995, remind you, and it got a pretty average 3.0, 3.5 across the board. Looks kind of interesting. I never played it though. Some more Marvel cards here. I read a lot of Wolverine during this time, and you see his drawings here. Part 2 of the Chrono Trigger guide that they had. Excuse me. This goes, let's see where they're at. Ioka Villages is in 65 million BC. They go all the way up to the end of time. You fight that dinosaur, I remember that. Death Mountain in the future. I probably used this guy a lot when I was playing the game, because I did get GamePro at this time, and I did have Chrono Trigger around this time. Romancing Saga 3, we never got this overseas in Japan. At press conference in the early September, Square of Japan unveiled 3 major RPGs for the Super Famicom. Super Mario RPG, we got. Romancing Saga 3, we did not. And Gun Hazard, a heavy hitters from Square and Nintendo, lent gravity to 3 events. Present from Square were the game's producers, Square president Tetsuo Mizuno, and composer Nobuo Uematsu, best known for the music of Final Fantasy series, Nintendo was represented by Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Mario, and Hiroshi Yamamichi, director of advertising and public relations. Slated for November 1995 in Japan. A little bit of Saga 3. This might be on the Switch now, I'm not sure. Gun Hazard. Super Mario RPG. My friend had this, and I borrowed it from him and really enjoyed it. Fun game. And I played it a few years ago. I think the last time I replayed it was 2015, 2016, something around there. Really fun game. It has a timing mechanic for the attacks where you press the button, you do more damage. So you can bounce, if you keep hitting the jump button as Mario, you can bounce up and down until you mess it up, then he stops. So if you're good enough, you can get through without taking a lot of damage, or any damage. Uses the same Silicon graphic engine like from Donkey Kong Country, where they rendered the graphics in a workstation and downsampled it and compressed it to fit on an SNES card. Really pops on a CRT. Doesn't look as well on a flat panel, but it still looks pretty good. See a new look for Mario. It did incorporate like an isometric, so you did jumping, platforming in like an isometric view as Mario. So it still felt like a Mario game almost, being an RPG, with also being an RPG. Who would have believed that Nintendo teams up with arguably the greatest name in RPGs to create a mind-blowing RPG starring Mario and his cohorts? This project started 2 years ago when the two industry giants began preliminary discussion. We wanted to make an RPG starring characters that have proven worldwide appeal. Said Yusuke Hirata of Square and general producer of the game. Mr. Miyamoto of Nintendo, Mario's creator, echoed our sentiments and wanted to see Mario in an RPG setting. After intense discussion about the use of characters, story, and setting, we began serious production last summer. Ad for the 3DO, you have Killing Time right here, which is fun. I played this. My friend had a 3DO. It's a first-person shooter with while you're playing the game, there's overlaid video scenes for cutscenes. You can walk around while they play. It's kind of neat. You do kill a lot of ducks at the beginning. Game Boy reviews, Super Return of the Jedi. Got pretty good reviews. Control, they really like the Control, which is odd because usually you think licensed games. Super Star Wars did not control very well, I didn't think. I haven't played it much, but for the SNES games. So I don't know if this is a port of that or actually a new game. George Lucas's classics film hits the small screen in a big way. Super Game Boy fans will have to search the galaxy long and hard to find something better than Super Return of the Jedi. Jedi for the Super Game Boy approximates Jedi for the SNES. You get 9 stages, so it is like a port, from the 16-bit game, including Wicket's fight through the Ewok village and Luke's race on a speeder bike. While some of the SNES stages, such as the first flying level, are missing, the SNES bosses, including Jabba the Hutt, the Rancor, and Darth, are all here. As in the SNES version, the controls are first-rate, mainly because you get such diversity. You can play as 5 heroes: Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, and Wicket. And you have Street Fighter 2 over here. Did not fare as well. They got, you see down here, they did not give it as good reviews. They give it like 3.0s. If you can see, it's kind of fuzzy. They give them like sleepy guy with a thumbs up. And the highest is a 2.0 for graphics. Super Return of the Jedi for Game Gear got good reviews as well. Here's an ad for a starter edition of the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, I think. And here's the second part of the Yoshi's Island strategy guide. I think I covered the first part in my last issue, maybe about 8 months or so ago. My last video on GamePro 76. I have a little tear in the page there. There's the boss. I remember you go inside the frog, he gets big, and then you shoot his uvula with eggs. I did 100% this game once, and every time I replay it, I never try to do that. I just go to beat the game. Because 100%ing it is pretty tough. Your collectibles that you get do not save. So if you miss one, you can't just go back in the stage and get that one you're missing. You have to get them all over again. So you have to do it in one shot, and that's it. One of Nintendo's classic games. They have many classic games. This is one of the best of the 16-bit eras in graphics, sound, play control. Just a fun game to play. Here's an ad for Ridge Racer, I believe. Ridge Racer, Air Combat, and Tekken. These are early PlayStation games. Swap Pro tips for Ridge Racer, Primal Rage, and Killer Instinct. Power Surge was a collectible card game for Marvel Heroes, I believe. Sort of like Magic the Gathering, I'm taking it. Cards were really big during this time. Killer Instinct codes, Secret Stage, Gex for 3DO, Mortal Kombat 3 for PlayStation, Earthworm Jim Special Editions for Sega CD, and Taz and Escape from Mars for Genesis. Doom Troopers ad for Genesis and Super Nintendo. Code for Neo Geo game. That's for King of Fighters 95. Balls the Director Cut for 3DO. An ad for Sega Channel. Here, this guy wrote a letter to Santa in like ransom letters. He kidnapped Rudolph and is asking for basically Sega Channel for him to get returned. Sega Channel was an online service that Sega provided. It had games available for download for a limited time. I think Wily Wars was on there. Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 were remade for the Genesis as the Wily Wars. Ad for Shockwave. Never played that. And this is a Fighter's Edge this month. They cover Tekken. Win big with Diddy and Dixie Kong. Grand prize, a complete video game library of 19 Super Nintendo titles. Excuse me. A $1,100 value Super NES control set, Donkey Kong Country 2 t-shirt. First prize, Super NES control deck, 5 SNES Chrome cartridges, GamePro subscription. Second prize, Donkey Kong Country 2 GamePro subscription, GamePro t-shirt. I do remember this guide. It was in black and white for Secret of Evermore. Just text, I believe. Nothing fancy to look at, I believe. Oh no, this is a different one. They actually have colors in this one. Some of these guides were just like black and white. I could be thinking of a different one. This one actually looks pretty colorful with maps and such. This is interesting. For this contest, the grand prize, win an original animation cell from the Secret of Evermore commercial. So there was a commercial in North America for Secret of Evermore with really cool animation of the boy and the dog. Really neat. Look it up. It's pretty cool. 25 runner-up prizes. Winners will receive one of each GamePro t-shirt, Prima mousepad, and Squaresoft poster. There's Scary Larry, one of the reviewers in GamePro. Earthworm Jim 2 for Super Nintendo, Genesis, and PC. Another contest. This is for Kmart Interact Sweepstakes. We've got $5 ProPad mail-in rebate. Offer expires March 31st, 1996. I don't know if Kmart's still around. GamePro Labs, this is how they look at peripherals that are coming out. Did I say that right? Peripherals? The per-4-meter turbo wheel for Genesis and Super Nintendo. Like a driving wheel. The speed box for Genesis, Super Nintendo. The specialized joystick for PlayStation. I have seen that. It's like an arcade stick for the PlayStation. The Eclipse pad for Genesis. Power pad for Saturn. And the Pro pad for 3DO. Probably a better controller than the original 3DO because the original 3DO had just 3 buttons on the face. This has 4 buttons like an SNES layout. Memory cards. Sells for about $27. 112 kilobytes of flash RAM. 10 and 15 save games, depending on the size. The PlayStation mouse for about $31. The link cable for the PlayStation, around $20. And the multi-tap for the PlayStation, around $40. Buyers beware. This is like the Consumer Reports thing of GamePro, where people would write in about problems they have with games, and this guy here, the watchdog, would answer them. The 3 difficulty setting. Let's see. I read about the new Virtual Boy in the September issue. I noticed it taking 6 AA batteries. That lasts only 6 hours. Batteries are expensive. Is Nintendo planning on making an AC adapter? There is an AC adapter for the Virtual Boy, which is available for local retail toy stores, like Toys R Us. The suggested retail price is $19.95. This guy's complaining about Saturn. I've had my Sega Saturn for about 3 months, and I own 4 games. I read that Sega gave out certificates to receive 3 free games: Clockwork Knight, Worldwide Soccer, and Virtual Remix, when you purchased a Saturn in September. That isn't fair. That means that I spent tons of money for games while the people who just caught on to the bandwagon got them for free. I think that the people like me who blew out their savings accounts or started saving their money to get the Saturn the first day it came out should get it some free stuff. Not the people who just caught on so they wouldn't be considered losers. And they answer, anyone who bought a Saturn from May 11th until September 30th received Virtual Fighter Remix for free when they registered their system with Sega at this number. Sega then ran a one-time offer September for 2 free games and Virtual Fighter Remix for anyone who bought a Saturn between September 5th and September 30th. And at this time, we don't have plans to extend that short-time promotion. This is a typical industry practice to offer incentives for purchasers who enter the market later or when there are many competitive choices available. Most consumers understand these different marketing strategies. So this was a Sega service respondent actually answered that. That's kind of harsh, man. I mean, your system's not doing great. Send the guy some games. Resident Evil preview for the PlayStation. Oh, this is interesting. This is an ad for Konami. They're looking to hire. Konami doesn't really make a lot of games now, so they were really on the top of their game during this time. So it's hard to read. I'm going to read this here. I'm going to actually... This will be hard to read because I'm reading upside down, so here we go. We've set our sights high and nothing can hold us back. Are your career goals the same? If so, then come join our team. It's an amazing career opportunity. It's creative freedom. It's a chance to learn on state-of-the-art equipment. A chance to be a member of a team developing games for all of the newest 32-bit and 64-bit platforms. Join Konami Computer Entertainment Chicago, so this is opening a new U.S. R&D subsidiary of Konami Company Limited, an industry leader in electronics entertainment for more than a quarter of a century. KCEC, Konami Computer Entertainment Incorporated, I think that's what it stands for, mission is to gather the most talented individuals on the planet to create the best video games for the American market. We are actively hiring these skills: graphic designer, animators, 3D SGI, sound designers, sound programmers, C, graphics animators, programmers, C, assembly. KCEC, Konami Computer Entertainment, is an equal opportunity employer located in a spacious new North NW Chicago suburb. Relocation packages will be available, plus we offer great benefits including competitive salaries, 401k plans, non-contributory medical and dental plans, and most importantly, a great place to work. Please send your resume, salary, history, and demo of your best work video for graphics, animation, audio, for sound to Konami at this address. Konami Human Resources Department GP, 900 Deerfield Parkway, Buffalo Grove, Illinois, 600-60089. Telephone 708-215-5100, extension 133, and their fax number. So interesting that they put out an ad to hire for this. Their recently opened research and development area in Chicago. Loaded for the PlayStation, Breath of Fire 2 for the SNES. Drawing on the strongest elements of its successor, Breath of Fire 2's new features that make the role-playing games worthy sequel, an excellent game in its own right. The corrupt church of Saint Eva has overrun the land, and enslaved its people. Only a member of the Dragon Clan can free the people. That's you, worthy Ryu. So yeah, this church is really bent. The evil organization is the church. It's a very cool story. Very difficult ending. Very fun game. One of the classic RPGs on the Super Nintendo. Here's an ad for Earthbound. Come with more rude smells than the old pull my finger joke. Zero Divide, Scramble Cobra, Solar Eclipse, 3DO, PlayStation for Zero Divide, 3DO Scramble Cobra, Solar Eclipse for PlayStation and Saturn. Chips and Bits, you could call and order these games. See, they don't have NES games anymore, just Super Nintendo games. Castlevania Dracula X for $46, Mortal Kombat 3 for $69. Ultra 64 games, so the N64 was not out yet. They still called it Ultra 64, but you could pre-order the system for $269. Alien vs. Predator, $56. Cruis'n USA, $56. Top Gun New Adventure, $56. I don't know if that ever came out. So, I mean, games were expensive back then. Jaguar System, $149. PlayStation System, $319. Saturn System, $419. Genesis CD System, $229. Genesis System 2, $99. Adventures of Batman and Robin, $44. 3DO System, $299. Well, that really dropped in price. It used to be like $700 when it came out. They really cut that price. NHL Face-Off, World Series Baseball, FIFA Soccer 96, and Foes of All for 3DO. Never heard of Foes of All. Oh, it's a boxing game. The Final Fantasy guide, I remember seeing that. Order these guides. Whoops. Sorry about that. Toy Story for these Genesis and Super Nintendo. We covered that earlier in the last video. I talked a little bit about it. Gargoyles for Genesis. I don't know if it ever came for Super Nintendo, but Genesis version is pretty fun. Has some controls that take a while to get used to, but I enjoyed it. I did beat it on easy, and it was tough. The last boss is very tough. And for Funko Land, so they still have Nintendo game prices. We'll take a look at some prices, what you could get used from Funko Land back in 1995. So a lot of the common games: Adventures of Bayou Billy, Adventure Island 5, $9, Adventure Island 3, $28, Castlevania 3, $5, Castlevania 2, $5, Dragon Warrior 1, $5, 2, 3, and 4 around $30 to $40. Star Tropics, $5. Star Trek, $15. Millipede, $22. For Super Nintendo, some Seven Saga is still hanging on at $40. Judge Dredd, $40. Lagoon, early SNES game, $15. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, $15. Earthbound, $45. Final Fantasy 2, $40. Final Fantasy 3, $49. Contra 3, $28. Chrono Trigger, $75. Won a $25 gift certificate from filling out that crossword. Bad Mojo and The Dig for PC. And I remember seeing this and always wanting this. You could win an ultimate game station with a up-to-date PC, a projector, screen TV, and a stereo. You had to fill out this little crossword and send it in, and you could win. I don't know if anybody actually won these. I always wanted to enter them, but never did. So for your media rig, the ultimate gaming environment, a 40-inch monitor, 130-watt receiver, with Dolby Pro Logic surround sound, all the components shown. Win a DSS satellite receiver as a bonus option. This rig will blow you away. Computer contest. Win a blazing fast computer with a Pentium 133 MHz processor, 16 megs of RAM, 1.2 gigabyte hard drive, CD-ROM, 17-inch monitor, modem, and more. Video game contest. Play on the high-tech cutting edge with this lineup. Sony PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Virtual Boy, 3DO, and Atari Jaguar. Get all 5 or trade the ones you don't want for cash. Bonus option includes 33-inch monitor, $1,000 in games, cash, accessories, and more. Siberia 2 for PC. These are all PC games here. Rebel Assault 2. Coming attractions. Tactics Ogre for Super Famicom. Battle Arena Toshinden 2. Lunar Remix for Saturn. Don't know if that came out here. Namco Museum for PlayStation. Super Family Galand for Super Famicom. Pro News System Wars. Sales of the PlayStation and Saturn appear to be running neck and neck despite the Saturn's early start. The early returns from the new 32-bit systems are in, and the result is a draw, depending on how you look at it. Sony's PlayStation is outselling the Sega Saturn, or the two systems have identical sales figures. According to official statement from the company spokesperson, as of the late September, the PlayStation and the Saturn had each sold about 120,000 units in the US. The big difference is that the Saturn made its debut on May 11th, while the Sony PlayStation debuted around September 9th. For both system sales were highest right when the systems launched. Sega saw another sales boost when it offered Virtual Fighter Remix and its 3 free games deals in the Saturn summer. Still, the sudden success of the PlayStation must be troubling for Sega, considering the Saturn had almost 4 months lead start, yet the PlayStation caught up within 3 weeks of its launch. We had the right price, the right technology, and the right software, clamored Olaf Olafsson, president of Sony Interactive. The bad news for Sony, meanwhile, is that it's almost certainly losing money on every PlayStation it sells for $299. But it hopes to recover those early losses when about 20 PlayStation games go on sale for Christmas. In another sales news, according to a Sega spokesperson, the sluggish sales of this 32X picked up in the summer when the price of the base system unit with packing game was cut from $149.99 to $99.99. The price for the system with either Star Wars Arcade or Doom also dropped, falling from $179 to $139. It's the most affordable system for the 32-bit gaming on the market, said Chrissy Husk Kramer, director of marketing for the 32X. The other system, the 3DO. 3DO is counting its value package and larger software library, which introduces 3DO-only titles like Killing Time to keep up with Sega and Sony. After a 3-year lead in the 32-bit market, 3DO now faces serious competition from Sega and Sony. Despite its head start, 3DO has achieved only lukewarm acceptance and success as the next generation Vice President of Marketing and General Manager of 3DO earmarked 3DO's value package as one of the system's strong points. $299 gives you a 32-bit system with 2 packing games and RF capability. In contrast, the Saturn and PlayStation cost $349 with 1 pack-in and no RF input. Funny they were spouting RF still. The 3DO did not come with AV cables. It just came with an RF, I guess. Which is funny because the back of the 3DO, it has built onto it standard composite and S-video inputs or outputs. Capcom cartoons. Capcom's hoping it's to repeat the success of its Mega Man cartoon with 2 new animated shows based on video games. Street Fighter, the animated series, is reminiscent of last spring's film, Gao as the leader of the Street Fighters. I did watch that show a lot, and I kind of liked it. I don't remember Darkstalkers, though. So the X-Band already hit with its SNES and Genesis owners. It also is going PC. X-Band PC will debut later this year, marking head-to-head gameplay possible for Windows owners. The first game out of the chute will be Sports Accolades Hardball 5, Capcom's Super Street Fighter 2, and Zombie Locust. Twisted Metal for the PlayStation, that it signed up the Utah-based company for 2 new games. Fulfilling the 2 games should be unveiled in the second half of 1995. Sony is also pleased with Signatrack, the 3D software stats who created Warhawk and Twisted Metal, so that they signed them for 2 new games. Mortal Kombat Live Tour, Sega Sports. GamePro Online. So this is early online stuff. GamePro Online has officially launched on America Online, AOL. So even as you read this magazine page, AOL subscribers are getting the latest, greatest news and information about video games through their computers. Here's a sample of what's going on. Conference calls. GamePro editors go online from 4:30 to 5:30 every weekday to field questions in the GamePro Online chat room and except from one conversation. What is Nintendo's exclusivity clause for the Ultra 64? We know they have a Dream Team concept where they're trying to lock up games for the Ultra 64. Surely there will be more games than that. Crossover all platforms, because it's a surefire way for the developers to make money on the system, which has more potential, the Saturn or the PlayStation. So far, all we've seen better quality software for the PlayStation, but don't count Sega out yet. The editors are fighting on the floor about that question. Two weeks ago, I was overseas visiting Nintendo of Japan about a job in video games programming. The Ultra 64 does exist, and Killer Instinct 2 will blow you away. The only reason for the Ultra 64's delay is that Nintendo wants 20 to 30 games available at release. This guy was right wrong. There was only like 2 games available at release. 3DO is the best game system on the planet. When Phase 2 is announced and the M2 is released, the Saturn and PSX are going to wither out and die. The M2 is 10 times faster than the PSX compared to the M2. Saturn looks like the Jaguar. Ouch. An ad for Clearasil. And an ad for that aforementioned game, Garfield game, caught in the act for Genesis and Game Gear. So that's it. Thanks for sticking with me. This is part 2 because part 1, YouTube kind of crapped out and I had to record it when it came back. So this was a look at GamePro issue 77 for December 1995. I want to thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you next time.